Hi friends, the Indian Air Force has lost jets in the combat during Operation Sindoor. But why? Because they were strictly told to do something, to follow a government's mandate. Sounds shocking? Well, you are not alone. Because today we are diving into one of the most explosive revelations about Operation Sindoor that will leave you just sad and shocked. So today we'll discuss why did India intentionally hold back in the early days of operation? Did political decisions cost us the lives of our brave pilots and valuable aircrafts? And also, what does this mean for India's defense strategy going forward? So this is not just about jets and missiles. This is about politics, military doctrines and national security. And you will see how they are all interconnected. So friends, don't skip this video, watch it till the very end because we are also asking you a very important question towards the end. And then let's see if you can answer it correctly. So let's get straight into the topic. So first let's discuss political restrictions on military targets. So this is the core of the controversy. According to Navy officer Captain Shiv Kumar, the Indian Air Force has lost a few fighter jets during the initial phase of Operation Sindoor because of political directives. These orders said, do not strike Pakistan's military installations. Yes, let that sink in. The order said, do not strike Pakistan's military installations. Now imagine going into a battlefield, but you are told to only hit the smaller guys, leaving the big guns alone. That's what our IAF pilots faced. They were ordered to hit terror camps, not enemy air bases. They were ordered to hit the terror camps, not enemy air bases, not radar stations, not missile systems. The reason? The government didn't want to escalate the situation into a full blown war. Now, from a diplomatic perspective, this makes sense. But in military terms, it can be very deadly. Terror camps are usually in remote areas or protected zones. But if the air defenses, like the surface to air missile systems, are still active, then your jets become sitting ducks. And that's what has happened. Captain Kumar didn't say the exact number of aircraft lost, but he confirmed that there were losses because of the limitations imposed on the pilots by the Indian government. So, India initially avoided striking Pakistani military installations. Yes, you heard that right. In the opening days of Operation Sindoor, India made a very calculated decision. That was not to hit Pakistan's military infrastructure. So the objective was a precise retaliation and not a full blown out war like we have just discussed. The idea was we'll punish the terrorists but we won't provoke Pakistan's military. Sounds noble, right? But was it practical? Well, let's not forget that terror groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba often operate with support from the Pakistani military. Their camps are shielded, supplied, and sometimes even run by the elements within the ISI and the Pakistan army. So, by not hitting the military structure, you are leaving the roots of the problem intact. Plus, it gave Pakistan time to activate their defenses. Their radar systems, missile units, and fighter squadrons were not touched. So they could retaliate, and that's what they did, resulting in the downing of our Indian fighter jets. Now, after losing jets and realizing the danger of avoiding military targets, the Indian Air Force had quickly changed its strategy. They began seed and deed missions. That means suppression and destruction of enemy air defenses. That means go after their radars, destroy their missile batteries, blind them before you bomb them. Now, this is standard modern warfare. And when India made this switch, the results started to show as well. Seed missions require advanced planning, intelligence, and technology. But once our forces executed them, we reduced the risk to our pilots. So, no more flying blind into the enemy's territory. Now, let's discuss the standoff weapons which helped India gain air superiority by May 10th. So, by this time, India was no longer playing soft. With the help of standoff weapons like BrahMos cruise missiles, precision guided missiles, and smart bombs, India started targeting deep inside the Pakistani territory without even entering their airspace. So, standoff means I can hit you from far. You can't touch me. That's exactly what has happened. Using these tools, India had systematically dismantled Pakistan's ability to fight back in the air. Fighter squadrons, radar stations, command centers, they were all hit. By May 10th, India had established air superiority. That means our planes could fly freely without serious threat from Pakistan Air Force or ground defenses. Now, this shift was crucial. It turned the game upside down altogether. So, the Indian strikes later hit Pakistani air bases, radars, and missile systems. Now, this is the final punch. Once India changed its tactics and began using long range precision weapons, it struck deep into Pakistan. Reports also suggest that Indian forces destroyed enemy radars, air to air missile units, anti aircraft artillery, fighter aircraft parked on the ground, and runways and military hangars. And these strikes just didn't hit the terror camps, they went after the very core of Pakistani's military capability. Now, this shows that while India started with restraint, it didn't stay that way for long. Eventually, the gloves came off, and the results were decisive, as we have seen. So, the Navy officer's remarks sparked massive political controversy. Now, this is where it gets controversial. The officer who revealed all this, Captain Shiv Kumar, said it during a public seminar in Jakarta, Indonesia. Not at a classified briefing, not behind closed doors, but a public seminar. Obviously, once his words went viral, the political storm exploded in India. Critics of the Modi government quickly jumped on it. They said, look, our pilots died because the government tied their hands. And the ruling party, well, they had a lot of explaining to do. So the government says comments taken out of context and operation was aimed to avoid escalation. The Indian embassy in Jakarta quickly issued a clarification. They said Captain Kumar's comments were taken out of context. The goal of Operation Sindoor was non escalation. So, in simple terms, yes, we hit Pakistan, but we didn't want to go to war, so we were just careful. The government also emphasized that the Indian military always works under civilian leadership, and that includes respecting political objectives, even during a crisis. So, this is true and very important. In democracies, politicians control the military. That's a pillar of our constitution. But then there are critics who argue that in trying to avoid escalation, did we compromise on mission success and our soldiers' lives? So, opposition demands transparency and accountability. So, Congress leaders like Jairam Ramesh and Pavan Khera called this a shocking admission. They said the government must come clean. They demanded a detailed briefing, maybe even a special session in the parliament, to reveal what really happened during Operation Sindoor. Ramesh even said the government must stop hiding behind nationalism and start respecting the lives of our brave soldiers and pilots. Now, this has added a whole new political layer to what was earlier a military story. Now, let's come to Pakistan's claim of downing six Indian jets dismissed by the Indian side. So, meanwhile, Pakistan made some wild claims. They said they shot down six Indian fighter jets, including even a Rafale. Now, let's be clear, there's absolutely zero evidence for this. India has also categorically denied it. There's no visual proof, no satellite images, no wreckage shown. The only confirmed loss was the MiG 21 Bison that Wing Commander Abhinandan was flying during the Balakot retaliation, which was way prior to Operation Sindoor. So, where did Pakistan get this six jets theory? Most likely propaganda, which is meant for their domestic consumption. But it also shows that war narratives are as much about perception as they are about the reality. So, Operation Sindoor wasn't just a military campaign, it was a masterclass in how politics and wars interact. It showed us the importance of clear mission objectives. It reminded us that technology like standoff weapons can save our lives. And most importantly, it revealed the need for transparency and accountability in matters of national security. So, now that you know all these facts, it's time to test your knowledge. So, the question for you is, what do you think was the biggest reason for IEF's initial setback in Operation Sindoor? Was it A. Lack of intelligence? Or B. Political restrictions on targets? Or option C. Poor planning by IEF? Or option D. Enemy superiority in technology? Drop your answers in the comment section. You can pause the video and enter your answer in the comments, and I'll wait for 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the correct answer is B. Political restrictions on targets. That's what Captain Shiv Kumar has clearly pointed out. The IEF was capable and ready, but was limited in what it could strike. That made the missions riskier and gave Pakistan essentially a chance to defend itself more effectively in the early phase. So if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such deep dives into geopolitics, defense and world affairs. Let us know in the comments, should military decisions ever be overruled by the political concerns? Until next time, this is Harsh signing off. Jai Hind.